If they lose with a CAG loss alongside a win for Cloud9, there is now a three-way tie for first. And in this three-way tie, Cloud9 is the odd team out. It's Giants and Cyclops that move on. If you are confused, good. That is the point. This is a very confusing system. This is exceptionally
you can summarize
confusing.
it, right? Basically, by losing, they actually got in a better position due to the format.
Yes.
And if they had won their match, they would have actually gotten down. So it's completely upside down. By winning, you go down the ladder, and by losing, you go up the ladder, basically.
It was basically they lost because their loss hurt Q confirm, or their loss allowed Q confirm to stay above Cloud9, which when adding in all of the point totals was enough to suppress Cloud9. So basically it wasn't that Cyclops needed to lose, it's that they needed Q confirm to win. And by Q confirm winning in the second stage and getting those points, it kept Cloud9 in a spot where Cloud9 and Cyclops were basically tied. I don't know if there's any of us that are going to disagree on this. I'm going to just come out and say it. I don't blame Cyclops at all. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I don't blame them either.
I don't blame them one bit. The format is dumb. The format is what needs to change. You play to succeed. Cyclops guaranteed themselves a better result by losing. Fair play. You don't like it? Change the fucking format. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even say that like I don't like them saying that they lost, because the thing is like they're saying it to say like why they lost. Like
it was I think it was the coach that actually posted it being like, here's why we threw the game.
Like don't and I feel like that's like them coming out and saying that says more about them and like their integrity for the match, because they don't want you to be like, they don't want people to just like assuming that they threw and then they're not saying anything about it and it's all shady, right? It's like, no, we did throw, but this is why.
You don't want to pull a mouse.
It's for our benefit in the long term.
Yeah, I actually spoke to him because I was really confused by the whole thing, and he basically tweeted out, "Feel free to DM me if you need like clarification." So I was like, "I'll try. I'll see what comes out of it." And I was like, "Can you please help me understand that basically by losing, you guys put yourself into a stronger position?" And he said, "Yeah, if C9 finished in second place, we're going to lose the seat for the major." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough." And then I said, did you go on social media and admit to basically throwing or fixing the match because you have too much honor? Or is it just because that you wanted to not be in the wrong in the sense that you're lying about it, right? Because I tweeted out myself that you can throw in many different ways. They could have lost that match by one, cutting the internet cord and just have a no-show. Empire Vitality, right? That happened. Was that a match throw? No one thinks so, but it happened. You could have just played back, missed the C4. You could have done a Magnet. Magnet C4 the floor at 1 health. He injured himself. They lost the round. You couldn't kill the Planter. There are so many ways to throw a game that do not look suspicious at all. What they did was that they just ran it down the middle. They like went outside the building. They would team kill. They would like breach and charge the floor and kill themselves. Like they did a lot of things where it was by, without a doubt, intentional throwing. And that's probably the only reason why it's a hot topic right now, right? Because they made it obvious.
Yeah.
And then they straight out said, we lost this game on purpose because we would benefit from losing. And that's where I'm like, the system is at fault because the system should never give the player the option to have to decide between winning, which is the right thing to do, but you're being punished for it, or losing, which is also impacting other teams outside of just them because Fnatic got into a bad spot because of it. It should have never been their choice to begin with. Never.
So, I mean...
Yeah, I think, though, like, the fashion in which they threw or lost the match, though, I feel like that brings up the discussion more, which will probably spark a change more likely.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because if they were to just lose the match and like people are like, they might have just lost, we wouldn't be having the same discussion. I mean, people would still be saying that the format should be changed, but like this is like, you can't argue, this is like clear evidence the format should be changed.
It should.
I have two opinions here. So I mean, the thing for me is we are 99% certain that Mouse threw their game against Noble to get Obey relegated.
Yeah.
I mean, was I pissed off about that? Yeah, I think it was kind of gutless. I think it was gutless because it was it was a game that didn't matter for Mouse. So who gives a shit how they play, right? I was pissed because it was, like you said, it was a waste of our time. You know, it wasn't the fact that they threw. I don't like when teams openly throw. I mean, I've watched a lot of traditional sports. So has Troy. There are teams that will specifically lose games at the tail end of the season to have a more favorable matchup in the playoffs. You know, if you are 7-1 and match up well against Team Fluffy Kittens, and if you lose 3 games, you are more likely to play Team Fluffy Kittens in the postseason than you're going to lose those 3 games. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? That's fair game. There's nowhere in any rule book do you sign saying I must win every game. Sometimes you just lose. My issue that comes with it is that making it really obvious. The Mouse Noble game comes to mind because they had Vertical playing Blackbeard for the first time ever. They had Beastly playing Ash for the first time ever. They had 3 people rush blue with no drones and no intel, which some of you said, oh, they've done that in scrims, but like, sure, it's
a scrim against me.
Sure. Anyway, it was kind of borderline, and I think we're always going to argue about it. You know, there are people that have privately come out and said that, you know, after the game, the players were like, we got Skies relegated. So it's like, clearly they were not trying, but there's plausible deniability. Now, there isn't any plausible deniability with this. This was flagrant. It was deliberate. And I like what Troy brought up, because if you think that the system is stupid and you don't bring it up, it does not provoke the same conversation. Right now, we would be talking about, did Cyclops throw? Not, hey, this system is dumb. Why did Cyclops have to throw? So they smartly put all of the focus on the system itself. Now, a lot of people are saying they could have just forfeited. And frankly, I think that would have been the best path forward. Cyclops says they release a statement saying we are refusing to play this game because the system right now allows us a better result if we lose. We do not waste people's time. We think the system is flawed. We are forfeiting this game as we are well within our right to do so that we can have a better matchup moving forward. Then, you don't waste anybody's time. You don't waste anybody's time. Nobody gets angry at you because you did what I would say is probably the more honorable / noble thing, which is you forfeited and you're very upfront about your reasoning, and it still keeps the spotlight on the fact that the system is busted. That's what I would have done. I think the fact that they played the game and were really obvious about it is kind of a slap to everybody's faces, because unfortunately from a PR perspective, now people are focusing on, well, they shouldn't have been so obvious about it, which your whole goal is to keep your messaging tight. If your message that you want to convey is this system fucking sucks, you do everything in your power to ensure that there's nothing else anybody can talk about. By throwing this match as obviously as they did, it unfortunately allows people who aren't going to critique the system to now lay blame at the feet of Cyclops. In my opinion, Cyclops are not to blame, it's the system.
No, I mean, we agree. The only thing is here is that I think forfeiting would be the most logical solution if it was allowed, but you cannot forfeit a match.
Parker. So-and-so's internet is out. His computer blew up. We can't play. We don't have a sub.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So I suppose it's running about
there's a sound bug. We need to rehost.
Yeah, they could, in so many ways, have forced a forfeit, right? By faking it. But again, it's just more cloak and dagger. Right? It's just more theories and what ifs and whatever the case might be. And to a degree, it's also arguably obvious, right? Because why would they have issues with this particular match that matters so much that they lose, yada, yada. I feel like they hit the nail on the head in the regard that they actually got the problem really blown up into this big hot topic. But now everyone is also coming for their necks because, yes, they did the right thing, so to speak, but they also did the wrong thing because they quite literally broke the code of conduct and the rulebook of Pro League. So what do you do as Ubisoft? Do you fine them and ban them as you should according to the rules? Do you slap them on the wrist and you fix the system? Do you let them be because it was basically the system at fault? What do you do? Right? It's really complicated. I think if CAG as an org had made a public statement and obviously spoken to Ubisoft in private beforehand and tried to come to some sort of resolution there, that would have probably been the best outcome. But what if they did and we don't know about it? What if they didn't because they didn't think about it? Like, we don't know the full story here.
Yeah. It could have even been something where it's like this morning.
Yeah.
Or after, when was the last APAC match? Tuesday? It could have been after Tuesday. They're like, Tuesday night, they finished their game. Wednesday morning, they wake up yesterday. And they're like, oh shit, if we win this game, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, like we need to do something about this. And I mean, let's be completely clear. when coaches are saying that they're messaging Ubisoft and they're not getting any confirmation that they've even received their message for a week or two, you can't rely on Ubisoft or Faceit to be that quick in responding sometimes. So, I mean, you take matters into your own hands. Like I said, I think the issue was how flagrantly they did it. There's ways to fake a forfeit.
Yeah.
Just as there are ways to throw a game and not make it look like you're throwing a game. You know, there are a number of games I've casted where I'm thinking to myself, like, like if they're not throwing, they do not give a single fuck about this game. Like at all. They don't care one bit.
Yeah. I mean, the most commonly act of throwing in my opinion, I guess, is usually for seeding, if anything. I know for a fact that back in year 2, season 1, between Penta and Ens or Sisu, I guess Sisu, we basically had to fight for first and second seed like we did every single season because we're the 2 teams on top all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very clear that Sisu/Ens was like the team to beat us domestically every single time without a shit of doubt. They were so much better than us in that matchup. But come the very final match that decided between seed 1 and seed 2, we beat them with ease. And pretty much everyone knew that they were basically just losing because they felt, as you said, they had a better matchup against Team Fluffy Kitty.
Yep.
They got first rounded by Fluffy Kitty at the LAN event, and we won the LAN event. And we thought that was hilarious because no one truly knows what happens with the seed. Because you might feel great about the matchup, but the reality of things might that you get completely destroyed in that matchup. And throwing for a seed is not the biggest thing you could do. But when it comes to qualifying for an event or not qualifying for an event, I think it's a little bit of a different story. For sure.